I remember me and this girl end up going inside the U-Haul, and out of nowhere, she looks at me and says, you know, I've never done it back here. This might be a new spot we could try. And at that moment, I remember she started taking off her clothes, and we did it in the back of a U-Haul. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to a super crazy, but I gotta say, embarrassing story. Now, today's story all takes place back when I was in grade 10, and honestly, my grade 10 year, I was a major player. Like, don't get me wrong, on the channel, I always talk about me doing the Devil's Tango. But no joke, I think I've done it so many times to a point where I'm shocked my eggplant still works. But going on with the story, I remember there was one specific time back in my grade 10 year where I had a lot of sneaky links. Except there was one girl that was my sneaky link that I always enjoyed hanging out with. I don't know what it is about her, but like, she was always super nice to me and she would always talk to me about like personal stuff. And not only that, but also doing the Devil's Tango with her was great. And over time, from me getting to know her, no joke, like, I gotta say, I think I might have like developed feelings. Obviously, I didn't say that to her whatsoever because me back in high school, I wasn't really looking for a relationship. I just wanted to enjoy my high school years as much as possible and basically just have fun. But I remember me and her, we would always like plan to meet up at like random points of the day. Like for example, there was one time at lunch where we ended up going to the fire escape and we ended up closing the door and just doing the Devil's Tango. And sometimes we would do it in the back of my car. We would do it in a porta potty. We would do it in so many different places. And she was always down to do it because like she had as much energy as I had when it came to doing the Devil's Tango. In a way, I guess she was like the perfect person for me. At least so I thought. But I remember one time when I was sitting at home playing video games, I ended up getting a text message on my phone. It was her texting me saying, hey, Baba, what are you doing right now? Nothing. I'm just at home playing video games. Why? What's up? Oh, like, want me to like come over in like a bit? Yeah, sure. You can come over. I don't mind. So I remember like 20 minutes went by and she ended up coming over to my place. I ended up letting her in. We went upstairs to my room and we started just kind of sitting down, hanging out, just talking about school and stuff. And I remember midway through our conversation, she says, honestly, like, yeah, I don't know how I would see myself going anywhere else but to the school we go to be honest. Well, good thing you don't have to think about it. Yeah, I guess not. I remember when she said, I guess not, I got confused because it seemed like she was hiding something and she started to look a little bit off. So that's when I mentioned, is everything okay? Like, is something going on? No, nothing's going on. Don't worry about it. Here, let's just do it. At that moment, me and her, we did the Devil's Tango and things were fantastic. But after we finished, I remember she got up and she had to go home because apparently her dad called her to do some work that she needed to do, which has never happened, by the way. She never got asked to do anything by her parents, so I'm surprised this was like one of the first times I've seen this happen. But then she ended up leaving my place and went home. I remember the next day at school, when I saw her in the hallway, I decided to walk up to her and say hi. I went, I said hello to her, and she started to look at me very awkwardly. And once again, I ended up asking her, hey, like, is everything all right? She ended up just giving me a massive hug and squeezing me as if she was going to leave. I remember I really didn't understand what was going on, and I was super confused. But I remember down the hallway, one of my friends that was like part of the boys back when I was in high school that I would always hang out with, saw this happen, and after she hugged me, he ended up walking up to me. He walked up to me and said, yo, Bubba, is everything good, bro? Like, that was kind of weird. I've never seen you hug her like that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with her, to be honest with you. Bro, from the looks of it, I'm not gonna lie, it seems like she's developed feelings for you. At that moment in my head, I started to think, wait, is this really true? Does she really have feelings for me? I started to do the math on it and really thought, okay, if she's acting awkward around me and also hugging me very tightly, maybe she does have feelings for me. So that's when I decided to develop a plan to basically just ask her out. Because like I said earlier, she was almost like the perfect person for me. She always matched my energy. She always was, you know, awesome to hang out with. Like, there was no really losing with this girl. So I remember later on that school day, I ended up shooting her a text message saying, hey, like, do you want me to come over today? We can kind of like hang out. Actually, I'm kind of busy today. There's something I have to tell you. Do you want to like talk about it at your place? Yeah, sure. I don't mind whatsoever. We can go to my place. And when she told me that, I thought in my mind that, you know, maybe she was gonna tell me that she liked me and that we could start dating. So I remember that entire day, I was just super excited. I was super excited to see her. I was excited for her to come over. Like, you guys have no idea. This was the most exciting time for me. But then obviously all good things must come to an end, because I remember after school came around and I headed back home, started to play video games, waiting for her to come over. And when she finally came over, that's when things went south. Because I remember she came over and she didn't really want to speak. She just ended up like, you know, hugging me really tightly. And we went straight to my room and we did the Devil's Tango. And like, we went straight to it. Like, we didn't have any conversation, nothing. But then that's when this girl ended up laying beside me and hugged me once more as we were finished. And she says to me, honestly, Bubba, I'm really gonna miss us. Miss us? Wait, what do you mean? And then that's when she sat up on my bed and said, yeah, I didn't know how to tell you, but I'm moving. You're moving? Wait, what? At that moment, I started to freak freak out. I was really annoyed. I was really upset, and I didn't know what to think. Like, this whole time, I thought she developed feelings for me, but no, it ends up being that she's leaving me, and I'm never gonna be able to see her again. I remember I looked over at her, and I told her, wait, so is this the last time I'm gonna see you? Oh, I mean, technically, like, to do it, yeah, but I mean, you can come over if you want, like, help me pack if that helps. And that's when I agreed to help her basically pack and get things into the moving truck so I could see her one last time. Even though we weren't gonna do the Devil's Tango, I still wanted to see her. So I remember I ended up basically the next day, went to her place after school, and me and her started moving her boxes all into this giant U-Haul that her father rented. I started moving things in and helping her out, and as we were putting things in and moving things out of her place, we just kept talking about all the crazy places we've done it in and all the crazy memories from back in high school and even how we first met. Obviously, she started tearing up a bit here and there, and then that's when she said, honestly, like, this can't be the last time. I'm sure there's somewhere we could do it. I don't really know. Like, you don't have a bed anymore, and like, your father's home. So like, there's really no place we could do it. Honestly, we'll think of something, is what she told me. And we ended up picking up the final boxes of her bedroom and putting it in the U-Haul. At that moment, when we were putting the boxes away, I remember her dad ended up coming to the back of the U-Haul as we were putting stuff in there. And he said to us, oh, honey, I'm gonna quickly be going to the store real quick to pick up some food. Are you hungry by any chance? No, Dad, I'm okay. Bubba, do you want anything? I'm good, thanks, to be honest. Okay, well, you kids have fun. I'll be back in like half an hour. He ended up getting in his truck and leaving, and the U-Haul was still left there in front of the house. And that's when this girl ends up looking around the U-Haul, and she says to me, Bubba, have you ever done it in a U-Haul? No, this would be a first if anything, is what I told her. And that's when she ended up taking off all her clothing, and we ended up doing the Devil's Tango in the back of a U-Haul. I remember we were shaking that truck like nonstop, and like, it was so awkward doing it in the U-Haul, but hey, I mean, it was only the Devil's Tango. How hard was it really? And I remember after like 20 minutes, we ended up hearing a truck pull up, and we recognized that it was her father's truck. So we started to put our clothes on as fast as we could. But right before I could pull up my pants, her father ends up opening the truck confused on why it was closed. And he saw me pulling up my pants and saying, oh, so that's why you hang out with my daughter so much, huh? Isn't it, Bubba? Sorry, sir, is what I said to him. And he's like, okay, son, just pull up your pants. And don't worry, this will be the last time probably you see her anyway. And he closed the U-Haul once again. At that moment, me and this girl just started laughing and laughing over and over. And we realized that, you know what? Maybe doing it in the back of a U-Haul was the best way to end off our relationship. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. And if you guys have never done it in the back of a U-Haul, then fall for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.